will start falling.
Gave you too much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm the fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. As I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. Let me seems to follow like a shadow, dark and cold to the touch. Am I insane not to let go? Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. As I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Pillars of the Earth. We are about to start Book 3. Let's see where this goes, shall we?
The White Ship. She was one of the fastest vessels that was ever built. The man who should be king of the English now, the son of King Henry, was on board when she sailed off.
Oh.
And with the prince there were 140 knights and many nobles, all on their way from Normandy to England. They say the ship hit the rocks, and then a fire broke out. Even before the White Ship had departed, the prince and his men had begun to drink and get violent. Monks that were meant to bless the voyage were then forced to disembark. Some say the ship had been cursed. The king's son and many of his family were pulled down into the Black Sea that night.
Uh-huh.
You're forgetting one important detail. Not only these monks, but also Stephen of Blois, the king's nephew, left the ship before it embarked. They say he got ill.
That old rumor.
The same Stephen who calls himself the King of the English now.
What? That cannot be a coincidence.
Yes, it can be. Of course he's king now. He survived. He is the king's nephew.
What do you think, my lord?
I think Stephen is a clever man. Clever enough to have his whole family perish. But why he would want to rule that godforsaken rock, I will never understand.
What makes you say that? I love my country.
Then why are you leaving?
Well, because I want to see something new.
I'll tell you what you're going to see. A proper country,
Oh,
where
Lord.
people know how to behave.
Where the British are sending their people.
What about you? Why are you leaving?
I'm looking for someone.
For who? I guess I should stay out of other people's business. Forgive me.
You English do talk a lot, don't you?
I just don't know how to feel about leaving my country for the first time. I mean, how should anyone feel?
You'll see what happens.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just running away.
From what?
You should all get some rest. It will not be long now till we reach Cherbourg.
Thank the Lord. I can't wait to be back.
In the late summer of 1142, I had left my home country, England, for good. My old life lay in shambles. as did my former home of Kingsbridge. Having failed both my friends and family, I had set out to find my baby's father, the man I still loved with all my heart, Jack Jackson. And so early one morning in July, I finally arrived on the shores of Normandy. With nothing on me but a pouch of coin and a young, curious face yet unnamed, who was just as unfamiliar to this new world as was I. You're still here?
Oh, it's you. I'm just trying to get my feet used to good solid ground again. The last bit of our voyage wasn't exactly my pint of ale.
That hammer you're carrying, do you happen to be a mason?
Actually, I am. You have a keen eye, mistress.
I guess I just know a mason when I see one.
To be honest, I haven't been one long. Just finished my apprenticeship in Salisbury. Before that, I used to shear sheep with my parents, but I guess that wasn't really for me. Father still hates me for leaving, though.
Of course he does.
I'm looking for someone. A red-haired mason called Jack Jackson. He came to France about a year ago or so.
A fellow mason? Great. Unfortunately, I wouldn't know a thing. After all, I just arrived here with you.
I know, but should you meet someone like that on your journey, tell him Aliena of Shiring is looking for him.
All right. Jack Jackson. I'll keep an eye out for you.
Thank you. What will you do to find work here as a mason?
Don't know. That's for me to find out. All I heard was that the wages are better over here.
So you'll just travel from town to town and look for employment?
Right. And I'll start in Lassay. A fellow mason told me about the abbey there. He said these Normans build their churches quite differently than we do back home. I need to see that with my own eyes. Maybe learn a thing or two.
Have a safe journey.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Where did you go, Jack?
Hey, you. That's quite a bundle you got there. Where are you headed?
Have you seen a red-haired mason? You must have landed here sometime late last summer.
Another ginger in Normandy? I wouldn't have noticed, even if he was carrying a hammer instead of a fishing rod. Maybe you should ask someone in Barfleur. That's where all the travellers come through, the pilgrims and kings. Their lot rarely lands in Cherbourg, with the fortress passing back and forth between Stephen of Blois and Geoffrey of Anjou. Why you even came to Cherbourg in the first place baffles me.
It was the earliest ship I could get.
You must be in some hurry, madam.
Let's just say I needed to get away before I changed my mind.
Fine with me. Who am I to judge?
Do you know the road to Lessay?
Been there, seen it. But I hope you're not planning to go there on foot. Tell you what, you give me some coins and I'll treat you to me wagon. You can even change your destination once we're on the road, what'd you say?
What other routes are there, besides going through Barfleur?
Oh, I don't know, really. You need to ask the locals about that. But Barfleur sounds like a good place to start. Shake my hand and I'll take you there.
All right. Take me out of town.
All right. Where do you need to be?
Let's go to Cherbourg.
We went to Barfleur, a scenic port town built on granite. It was the biggest harbour in Normandy and the main entry point for the Normans to their new possession of the Isle of England. I talked to some of the sailors and fishermen, but no one had remembered seeing Jack. How could they? Almost a year had passed since he, a simple mason, had journeyed through the busy town, a town with no memory other than that of the last king who passed through on yet another one of his violent conquests. Maybe I was approaching this the wrong way. What had drawn him to France in the first place? The distance to Kingsbridge? Or something specific? What was my lead? Lessay was tiny, but as it turned out, worth the trip. In the small abbey church of the Trinity, I met a monk who claimed to have talked to a man fitting Jack's description. He'd been fascinated by the abbey's rib vaulting and had asked the monks countless questions about the place's construction. The monk apologized that he couldn't tell me where Jack had traveled next, but I didn't mind. I lay down to sleep on the floor of the Abbey guest house and, for the first time in almost a year, I felt relief. As I drifted into sleep, I hugged our baby tight and whispered into his tiny pink ear, "We're going to find your daddy." My father had once told me tales of the Mont Saint-Michel. Long ago, the Archangel Michael had urged Hubert of Avranches to build an abbey on a lonely rock on the ocean by burning a hole into his head. They say one can go and see his penetrated skull on display in the church of his hometown. It was a windy day when I arrived, and the place was crowded with pilgrims and jongleurs. I remembered Jack's fascination with these tellers of stories. I spoke to one who was just taking a break. As it happened, he had indeed met Jack, although not in Mont Saint-Michel, but on a road heading east from there. Apparently, Jack had been hopelessly tracking jongleurs who might have known his father, Jack Cherbourg. But as he'd been gradually running out of money, he'd intended to look for work in Le Mans or Tours. That was about 6 months ago. I was catching up.
Okay. To Le Mans. Olé.
Going to Le Mans reminded me of all the trouble I'd left behind in England. 30 years ago, Le Mans had been conquered by the Plantagenet Geoffrey of Anjou, Maud's husband. And although they'd held it ever since, other noble families kept on pulling at the city, like Maud and Stephen tearing at England. There was no sign of Jack, but I got news of a new kind of cathedral being built in Saint-Denis, just north of Paris. It was possible that Jack had gone there to learn from the craftsmen. That was, if he hadn't travelled further south, looking for work in one of the many churches in Tours, the hometown of Saint-Martin.
Let's check there first. I guess he's here?
Good day. Are you the master builder?
What is it?
I'm looking for a mason who may have passed through here. An Englishman with carroty hair. He calls himself Jack Jackson.
A redhead?
Yes. Did you see him? He might have asked for work here.
No, I'm not looking for new masons. We're just doing repairs.
Ah, but was he here?
No, never seen him. Now, stand back, woman. Something could fall on your baby's head.
Are there other construction sites around Tours?
Well, yes. It's a big town.
And where would an outsider most likely find a job?
Dunno. Ask around.
You hesitated when I mentioned a redhead. Are you sure you haven't seen him?
Yes, I am sure.
I don't believe you.
Well, that's your problem, not mine.
Why won't you tell me what you know?
All right, he was here. Was working for me. But I had to throw him out after 2 or 3 days.
Why?
Because he was all want. Let me redesign the roof, let me make the nave lighter. All pretty ideas, but he never shut up long enough to do the work he was supposed to do. Shit, that man was almost as needy as my son when he was still a brat.
He does know a lot about his craft.
Well, I know masons like him. They grow up gifted, but without a mote of discipline in their guts. Can't work with someone like that.
Do you know where he went next?
No idea. Maybe to Limoges or Angoulême. Maybe even to La Rochelle. Seemed to have plans for every cathedral on God's green earth, but none for himself.
I understand. I'll leave you to it then.
Bon voyage.
Well then.
We had just left Tours when I suddenly felt dizzy. I stopped and made rest, trying to catch my breath, then lost my... To my horror, our baby too had grown pale, his breath shallow like that of an old man. I managed to walk until the sun had fully risen before I keeled over. A knife merchant who'd been travelling behind me flagged down a coach heading back to Tours and haggled with the coachman to carry me back to an inn. Back in Tours, the fever got worse. I remember people carrying me into a room, laying me on a bed. I tried to feed my baby, but after that, everything turned into a blur.
That's not good.
When I awoke, Jack was standing next to my bed. He scolded me for following him. "You know you could go anywhere you want," he whispered. "Why be stupid and follow me?" I tried to answer, but he just opened the window and jumped out, heading toward ancient Greece, or maybe all the way to Arabia. And in my feverish mind, I followed him.
Hold on.
The further I went, the angrier I got. For years, I'd been fighting for my family. I'd committed myself to an oath to my father. I'd built up a business to sustain it and even married a man I despised so I could create a future for the people around me. I'd known nothing but my duty to the men in my life, while the man I was trying to find lived a life of casual irresponsibility. He traveled the world on a whim to learn about mathematics and philosophy, while I had to raise the child he'd fathered. When could I ever do anything just for myself? I asked the world as I went on. I'd travelled in a circle all the way to the edge of the world and back, only to return to the place of our failure. With my eyes closed, I listened to the sound of ripping yarn and crumbling walls, and of coaches carrying good people away into a cloud of crimson dust.
Hold on.
When the last moat had settled, I opened my eyes again and found myself in a dirty little room. An old maid was sitting next to my bed and smiled at me, then handed me my baby. Oh, dear God, he still looked so pale. I tried to feed him, but he refused. Oh, please, God, let him live. Don't punish him for my own sins. I gently caressed his head until finally he put his mouth to my breast and drank more and more, becoming greedier with every swallow. We had both been spared. We rested one more day. Then I gathered my things and headed back to the cathedral to thank the Lord for his mercy. Thank you, dear Lord.
All right, steady now.
I thank you for having spared my child. I thank you for...
Don't let go until it's done.
But why are you showing mercy on me? I failed everyone I cared about. I failed Jack. I failed my brother. And if I never return, I would also break the oath I had given Father. It's just that I feel like I've never had a life of my own. I've always fought for others. And this may be the very first time that I fight for something that I only want for myself. Maybe I should just go back and help rebuild Kingsbridge. Maybe Jack doesn't even care for me anymore. Amen. Huh. I've seen one of those before.
It's amazing, isn't it? The man who did that really had it in him.
Had what in him?
The spirit of a true Mason. It's a shame that the Master let him go. In just 1 month, he did so many things.
What did he do?
He came up with ideas for how to make the construction easier. But the Master didn't want to hear it. To tell you the truth, everyone thinks that he feared for his own job having someone like that around. The last thing Jack did was carve that corbel. It was the one thing the Master let him do. Then when he was done, he was asked to leave.
Your master said he had no discipline.
Let me tell you something. Jacques worked very hard on it. He was impatient and had a temper, but you could see that he tried to overcome it. Conquering that rock was very important to him.
Oh, I understand that so well. Do you happen to know where he went next?
He wanted to walk the pilgrim trail to Santiago de Compostela.
The Camino? The Way of St. James?
He said he might find someone there who knew his father.
Just one more thing. How was he when he left?
Never thought about that. Relieved, I guess. He seemed ready for something new.
Thank you so much for your help.
Think nothing of it. And good luck on your travels. May you find what you are looking for.
Okay, I was afraid that thing would fall.
Isn't it odd? Just when you stop looking, you come across the most curious of things. Like these 3 devices that one of my merchants brought back from Baghdad.
Baghdad? Okay.
Oh no. Is it another one of your Banu Musa toys, Rashid?
They're not toys, Adriel. They're objects of scholarly ingenuity and reflection.
I will let my valued friend from the north do the honors. Jack, if you may. For one, let me draw your attention to the magnificent songbird on the table. And then, to that wondrous donkey next to the entrance. Although, the most astounding thing of all stands right between them. On second thought, why don't you save the lady for last? Otherwise, the other two devices might appear bland and boring in comparison.
I agree.
That statuette?
Haha, precisely. But, one thing at a time, let us let Jack decide what to demonstrate first.
And now?
Now, Jack will heat the water in the tank.
He likes to take his time, doesn't he?
It's so beautiful it will make you cry. Just listen.
Well, how marvelous!
How does it work?
Maybe it's a miracle.
Right.
Go on, Jack. Tell them.
There's a hidden wheel inside the box. It turns an axle that in return raises and drops a sequence of small cylinders inside. These cylinders work like fingers playing a flute.
But who is blowing into the flute?
Steam.
Steam?
Yes. When I opened the pipe, it gradually pushed itself into the tube.
The power of steam.
And then steampunk started.
Agree. This is brilliant.
Of course! It was created by a Muslim after all.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. What else have you got, Rashid?
Anyone care for some tea?
Thank you, my daughter. We will have some as soon as Jack has finished our presentation.
Mind if I watch?
Of course not.
So, who is this man, Rashid?
Jack is a friend of the house. A brilliant man, a scholar and a talented artist. Just the other day, he explained Euclid to me.
What is that?
It's too heavy.
A Greek who wrote a book called The Elements of Geometry. The Egyptians translated it into Arabic, and now the Englishmen are turning it into Latin.
I could watch this man scoop up water all day. How very peculiar.
Now, watch the head. Just any moment now. There. Did you see?
It threw up.
Rashid, this is disgusting.
Oh, far from it. Would you kindly explain how it works, Jack?
You see that bowl floating on top of the water? At the bottom of that bowl is a small hole. Through it, the bowl is slowly filled with liquid. Once it's full, it sinks, pulling a string which makes the ball drop onto a weight. This, in return, pulls the bowl up again, emptying it in the process.
Thus resetting the entire mechanism.
If you timed it perfectly, you could make it drop a ball at every hour.
Turning it into a clock. How clever.
For me, it's still nothing more than a puking donkey.
Show us more, Rashid.
One could join those two and build a singing donkey clock. One song after every hour.
That would be pretty clever.
I know, right?
Cuckoo clock.
You could be the one to build it.
Oh, that would be unfair. It's your invention.
I would let you have it. Or we design it together.
You still haven't shown us that statuette yet.
Of course. Jack, if you may. Oh, you will love this. Just watch.
And now?
Just be patient, but don't look away. It takes some time for her to...
To do what?
Hmm?
Is it crying?
Isn't that amazing?
No, it's irritating. Rashid, what is going on?
We have no idea how it works.
Rashid, please.
We all know that there is no such thing as a man-made miracle.
And this piece of wood is very clearly made by man.
I very much agree, my friends. But so far, none of us has an explanation.
All we know for certain is that her glassy eyes shed tears when you move her from warmth into cold.
Like a plant at sunrise. Like dew. The only difference is the surface, that's all.
I think you may be onto something.
Am I? Of course, I had no intention of disturbing your conversation. But if you can find out why there's dew gathering on a plant, you may understand why that woman is so weepy. So, who wants a cup of tea?
I'll have some.
Your daughter is quite something, Rashid. A
Well,
scholar
this
in her own
doesn't
right.
seem good.
I know. I'd rather she wasn't. It would make marrying her off so much easier.
Oh, I'm certain that won't stay a problem for long.
Maybe the dew originates from invisible water in the air. Water that stays hidden when it's hot.
The pilgrim trails across France converged at Osterbat, in the foothills of the Pyrenees. There, the group of 20 or so pilgrims who had been travelling alongside me since I'd left Tours swelled to about 70. Some were prosperous citizens, some probably on the run from justice, a few drunks, and several monks and clergymen. Several languages were spoken, including Flemish, a German tongue, and a southern French language called Oc. Nevertheless, there was no lack of communication among them, and as we crossed the Pyrenees, they sang, played games, told stories, and in several cases had love affairs. While my baby and I kept mostly to ourselves.
Ganz schön frech, die mit ihrem Kind.
Hush now.
That's not a very happy baby.
I'm sorry. He has to cry himself out before he'll fall asleep. It will give you a strong voice one day, won't it? Do you have children?
Richtig dreist. Kann ein Mann nicht einfach mal seine Ruhe haben? Der Weg aus Babenberg war doch anstrengend genug.
Dear Lord, what are you doing? You should get out of the water. It's freezing.
My ring! I lost my ring! Dear Lord, please show mercy. Come back to me. Please come back to me.
Oh.
Where are you? Where did you go?
I found it.
Yes! Oh, thank you! Thank you so much! You are a very kind woman. So very, very kind.
I'm glad I could help.
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Are you getting warmer?
I am, thank you.
I can see this ring is very precious to you.
It was a gift from my stepmother. She thought I would stay forever, but I didn't.
Why did you leave?
Oh, I thought I didn't belong. She always said I was her daughter, but I was sure she was lying. I was so selfish and so stupid. Too stupid to see I really was happy.
Tell me about your stepmother.
She was such a kind woman. So very, very kind.
Maybe you really weren't happy.
I don't know. I was very young and thought I was unhappy because I didn't live close to the sea. But in the end, the sea did not feel the same about me.
No.
The cold there made me sick. It took away my sight.
Why didn't you go back?
She had been so angry when I left. So angry and disappointed. She would have never let me return.
Ah, that's why you went on the pilgrimage.
Yes, so that St. James might see my devotion, and I will be united with my mother in heaven. I'm just not as kind as you. Not kind at all.
You're too hard on yourself.
I don't know.
I, too, am trying to make amends with the one man I loved the most. I was told he went straight to Santiago.
You will know soon.
Not soon enough. It's still 4 weeks till I get there.
He'll be there, I'm sure of it.
I hope so. I just feel that with every day that passes, I'm losing him a bit more. And that the only thing I can allow myself still to hope for is not love, but forgiveness.
I understand.
Hey, hush now. Not long now and our journey will be over,
We're all the way over here.
The woman's name was Alba. She came from a small town somewhere in Catalonia. I quickly got used to her constantly feeling out for her stepmother's ring and the sad guilt that would always follow in her milky eyes. I wasn't sure if she appreciated my company, but I couldn't leave her on her own either. By the time we reached Los Arcos, she'd stopped talking, while I kept on dropping a kind word here and there to let her know I was still by her side. Alba believed herself to be of weak mind and body, and yet she walked the Camino with a strong sense of purpose that willed her onward. It made me wonder about what I'd told her about my own journey. Did I hope for love? Or was I really traveling because I needed him to forgive me? But what was there to forgive? My decision to marry Alfred had been in the best interest of the people of Shiring. It was a sacrifice I had to make to stop the evil reign of William Hamley. These questions had haunted me for a long time now. But if I really was going to see Jack soon, it was time to make up my mind. Around Lyon, the path began to gradually turn uphill. It was only 2 more weeks till we'd reached Santiago. The baby was in a good mood, and so, surprisingly, was Alba. After Astorga, the trail got more difficult. Alba became slower and slower, and we had to rest more. She became quiet again. The strain on her old body grew, and she worried that she might not be able to reach the end. Still, we managed to push onward.
Well, that's good.
The next morning, she refused to get up. Her breathing was disturbingly shallow, and she hardly noticed me touching her forehead. Everything hurts, she said, and urged me to continue without her. Of course, I stayed with her. I brought her food and water and sat by her side. But day after day, her condition grew worse. She kept on urging me to go, to find Jack, saying the monks of Ponferrada would take care of her. I was about to leave when a monk stopped me. He urged me to stay at least for another day, and feeling that he was right, I remained. I'd hardly known her, and most of the time she'd tried to push me away, as if she considered herself a nuisance that slowed me down and who didn't deserve company. It wasn't until a few moments before she died that, for the first time, she smiled at me, and I like to believe that she saw me smile back. I still like to believe that here, in this unlikely place, dying next to a near stranger, she'd found a moment of serenity and happiness. But she'd not reached Santiago. When I left, that thought still haunted me. To see that a journey could come to an end so suddenly. But what would be different if she had reached Santiago? Could she have been disappointed by what she found? After a month, in the evening, we attended Mass in the great cathedral, then started to roam the town looking for my dear Jack. It was almost dawn when finally a priest pointed me to an inn close by.
Oh, is that?
Buenos dias. Do you understand me?
Sinto ben, pero non temos camas disponibles.
No, I don't need a room. I was told a friend of mine stayed here some time ago. A red-haired Englishman called Jack. Do you remember him?
Eu só che falo en galego, miña rula.
Français? English? I'm looking for a man who likes to read a lot.
E logo anda sempre cun libro en riba.
Have you seen anyone like that?
Pero, por que levas un libro en riba? Basta escangallar co peso.
She doesn't even understand that I'm looking for a person yet.
Let's see here. What else can I do here?
Oh, que cousiña. Eche rubio.
Sí, redhead. Have you seen his father, Padre del Niño? Jack Jackson?
Ven sendo un peregrino.
What?
É un peregrino?
Oh, no. He's not a pilgrim.
Entón, quen ven sendo?
He's a mason.
Ai, mal rayo, me partas entendo o que me estás a contar.
Is there someone inside who might be able to translate for us?
Nena, que temer que quen te entenda.
A translator? A guest?
Agora mesmo estanche todos a dormir. Case che diría que volvas mañá pola mañá.
Let me show you something. He's a mason. He builds things like that.
Ah, eche masón. Albanés.
Sí, a mason. It's the same word in Galician.
Por aquí pasan unha morea de masóns. Non me poderías dicir algo máis sobre el?
Oín falar dun masón que dis que se dedica a traducir libros en Toledo.
Polo visto, di que se chama Jack.
Yes, Jack. Have you seen him?
Non sei cal será o seu apelido, pero ben é certo que non hai moitos masóns rubios aos que lles guste ler. Se tan desesperada está, por que non vai a Toledo a comprobalo por si mesma?
Entón, marchou para Toledo.
I don't understand you.
Di que o teu Jack podería estar en Toledo.
All right, so I will go to Toledo then. Gracias. I just pray that I understood you correctly.
I hope I understood. Where's Toledo?
Buenos dias. Parlez-vous français? English?
Of course. How may I help you?
I was told a man named Jack Jackson lives in this house.
Who told you this?
A group of scholars living at the edge of town. They said he used to translate old scriptures about mathematics before he moved here.
Please wait here. I will talk with Master Rashid.
But I saw his sling. Do I have to go in and check the sling?
I don't want to leave it behind just like that. It's too valuable to me.
All that you guys can think of to do.
It's his.
Oh, there you are. May I ask who let you stroll around our house?
I traveled hundreds of miles looking for a man called Jack Jackson. A scholar told me that I would find him here.
Yes, my servant told me already. My father's not here at the moment, so you'll have to make do with me. Unfortunately, I must disappoint you. There's no one called Jack living in this house.
Maybe he took a different name then.
I'm sorry, but this is not easy for any of us. I think you should know that Jack and I are promised to each other. Maybe we should go inside. The sun's burning, and my mother doesn't need to hear us.
Lovely.
Jack told me about you. You are Aliena. You're the one who rejected him and married his stepbrother. And now you want him back.
I'm here because I love him.
He always said that he had come here to find out about his family. But instead, he found out about everything else. About philosophy, mathematics. When he and my father met, it was love at first sight. They studied together and made great plans. But in the end, Jack would always start talking about his cathedral again. This great church he would build one day. Rib vaults and pointed windows. He'd ramble on about it for hours and stare up at that ceiling. We three sat here for hours and talked. And then in the evenings, it would be just the two of us. So many strange ideas about the future. Some barely more than silly dreams. Others almost in arm's reach.
He always had his head in the clouds.
Oh, yes. Well, he's not here anymore. My father had offered him work as a master builder here in Toledo. He would have been well off and free to spend his evenings under vaults like this, with me as his wife. But in the end, he refused. Tell me, did you really marry his stepbrother?
It was a mistake. I know that now. I did it to fulfill a promise I'd made to my father. I thought I had no choice. I didn't want to hurt him. Believe me.
I do. You know, he left me because of you. Even after all you did to him, he couldn't let go. You can be glad that you ran into me and not my mother. She was enraged when he left.
He can have that effect on people.
But apart from that, we made our peace with him. Father even gave him one of his favorite pieces of his collection as a parting gift. A small wooden statue with stone eyes, in exchange for his slingshot.
Would you mind telling me where he went?
He went to Paris, to work on the Cathedral of Saint-Denis. He said he never found out about his father, so there was no reason to stay down here anymore.
Paris?
Yes. If you find him there, tell him I don't miss him.
I am sorry for all this.
You don't have to be. What is the child's name, by the way?
Well, he has none yet. I wouldn't name him without Jack.
Isn't that a bit silly?
Maybe. But he's his son as well as mine. It's his right to have a say in it too.
Then off to Paris. That baby needs a name.
He will get one. Thank you.
To Paris! Oh, why didn't I just go... Is there mountains or something? Mountains everywhere, really. By the looks of it.
I travelled back along the Way of St. James, passing through Astorga, Lyon and Burgos. I crossed the Pyrenees, revisiting Bordeaux, Angoulême, Poitiers, but never stayed longer than one night. The closer I came to Paris, the stronger my old doubts and fears resurfaced. If Jack really was there, what was I to say to him? We had to hear each other out before we could walk on again, in whatever direction that would be.
The City of Lights. I don't see no Eiffel Tower. I don't think this is Paris. Oh, here he is. He's over here. He's right here. He's right here.
Can't just leave. Even if he doesn't want to see me, he deserves to see his son.
He's right flipping here. How do I interact with him?
There. Are we awake then? You almost missed this. Look at these colourful windows. Look at the light.
Ali.
We came to see you, Jack.
We? Is he?
He is your son.
My son?
Yeah, the one time you did it, you had a kid. Congratulations.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. Ali, where do we go from here?
Wherever we go, I want to go with you.
Will you marry me? Both of you.
We will. We stayed in Paris as husband and wife. And our son, Tommy. The days went by quickly. Jack had learned much working as a builder in Saint-Denis. Days became months. Then after a year, we both grew restless. Where can we go from here? We asked ourselves again. We both confessed that we wanted to see our families, our friends. And then we knew where we wanted to go. Home. Even if it was in shambles.
It's a pretty long chapter, if you ask me.
We need to hurry. The ship to England will leave soon.
What's going on here?
Whatever it is, if the crowd doesn't clear up, we'll miss our ship. Excuse me.
What's going on here?
He's a thief. He told us lies and stole our money.
But isn't that just a simple jongleur?
That poor man. We need to help him. Oh, he doesn't like it.
Neither do I.
Let's see here.
Do you know what's going on?
Oh, chaos. I can't get these people to calm down. God knows I tried.
What happened?
The jongleur told the crowd a few stories. Then he sold people some miracle charms, but it was just fairy tales and painted stones.
Well, it always is.
I know, but I'd need a real miracle to calm them down now. Otherwise, they'll rip him apart.
The doll.
Do you see? It's working.
Your friend Rashid must be quite the miracle worker.
Look! What's going on? The Holy Mother. She's crying.
Revere the Holy Mother, for she has blessed us with a sign from the heavens. Cease your doings right now, and witness the miracle.
It's true! Lord in heaven. Why is she crying?
She weeps for your sins.
What has this man done to you that you would treat him like a wild animal?
He tricked us and took our coin.
And you would kill him for your own foolishness.
The Holy Virgin weeps, for you are not living by the word of God.
It is the Mother of God.
Forgive us, Holy Mother.
Where did she come from?
For hundreds of years, she languished in the land of the Saracens. Dormant, she has been waiting for the one to bring her home.
Listen to what he has to say. The Holy Virgin has chosen this young family to protect her. Tell us all where you are headed.
Her destination is beyond these waters. In the small town of Kingsbridge, in the earldom of Shiring. There she wants to rest.
Kingsbridge?
Where's that?
Hail Mary!
Make way for the Holy Virgin!
Hallelujah!
Make Robert well!
Huh?
Blessed Mary, let my daughter conceive.
Give us a good harvest!
They're donating to ask for her blessing.
Oh. The weeping Madonna shall hear your prayer. And with your donations, I shall build her a new shrine at Kingsbridge, a cathedral.
It's you.
Who do you mean?
You. The red-haired ghost.
Me? A ghost?
My husband is very much alive. I've known him since he was 12 years old.
But he drowned. By God, you drowned. 24 years ago. On the white ship. My poor son. My Jacques.
His name was Jacques.
Jacques Cherbourg.
Jacques.
Cherbourg.
Oh. You found your grandmother!
So much has grown, but there are no roots, no herbs.
What are you looking at, Jonathan?
The garden is in disorder. I want it to be right again, but I don't know how to do it.
Before I became prior, I thought the same about Kingsbridge.
Well, what did you do?
I cleaned up.
Where do we start?
Some plants are weeds and must go before we can plant new seeds.
What are weeds?
They take away what the other plants need to grow. Light, water, room.
What do we do?
Pluck them. They look a lot like every other plant, so you need to learn how to tell them apart. Here, you see those?
You see all this grass?
They're called
It's a weed.
wood sorrel. Let's pluck only those for now.
I'll do it.
If you insist. Make sure to pull out all of the thin roots.
And now what do I do?
For plants to take root, the soil must be loose and fertile.
So, may I dig now? Done. What's next?
Stay here. I'll be right back.
Where is it? There it is. Right there.
Now, where did you put them?
Isn't that it right there? You were just standing right next to it.
Ah, here they are.
Well, I guess not.
I found these nuts for you. Remember, Mingus, you always said that one day there will be a beech tree growing here. I think it's about time.
What did you bring?
Do you remember Milius? A kind man with a warm smile. Well, he told me to give you this.
Whoa!
Now we just have to wait.
All right.
How long?
Too long for us to keep sitting here.
That long.
Some things take time. And only with patience will you receive your reward.
Why do we have to do all these things if all we had to do is wait?
Simply waiting would not have been enough, Jonathan. You just paved the way for things to take their course. They are happening right now. And in a few days' time, we will return and see the first green leaf of something new.
Is it God's reward?
Maybe.
Does he make things grow?
You made it.
No, I just planted the seed.
Now you can fetch some water from the rain barrel.
But that water's smelly. It's been there forever. There are many trees by the river. I bet that water's better.
That's a longer walk, though.
I don't mind. The distance is worth it.
Maybe you're right. It is worth it. Let's walk together, then.
But I'll carry the bucket.
Why isn't Remigius holding the sermon? What's gotten into Philip?
Our church lies in ruins. But all of this, these dire times, have revealed something important to us. Something that, maybe until today, I wasn't aware of.
What do you mean?
You've been praying in these ruins. But you've been praying like you always did, in humbleness. We don't need a church for prayer.
Where else are we going to pray? The chapter house?
The church is where God resides.
God doesn't work in the ways we might assume. Today, Jonathan tended to our garden to make it beautiful again. And he told me of things I almost had forgotten. Good and evil are not in here or out there. They are within each of us. God made us in his image. Thus, we carry the godly spark within us. But we have witnessed that man can have the devil in his heart as well. Prayer needs no special place, for we are his church. In our actions, he exists.
We are God's temple.
No man is closer to God than any other man. Whether you pray in church or on the streets of our towns, whether you're a man, woman, monk, or bishop.
Philip, look outside! You have to see them. You've got to see the horses and the colors.
Jonathan. Now, what's going on?
I heard noises and I went to look.
Calm down. What happened?
But the priest said they brought a miracle.
Who? What? What priest?
Step right up, brothers and sisters. For you are about to see something that will change your life.
Who is that?
They brought us a miracle.
A miracle?
Don't be shy. There is no danger, just awe that awaits you here. Ah, you must be Prior Philip. I am Brother Reynold. I have been sent by the Archbishop of Canterbury. Here is his letter, in case you have reasonable doubts. We've been charged to accompany the Weeping Madonna. She is to replace the loss of your relic, Saint Adolphus the Martyr, who was taken from you, I hear, with brute force.
What?
On her travel from far away Africa, she has collected donations to reward Kingsbridge for your faith in her and in the Lord.
I can't believe this. What is all this?
You do believe. That is why she came. And that is why you shall witness her miracle for yourself today. The Weeping Madonna came to me in a faraway land named Africa. A baptized Saracen was her former guardian. And I and the custodians of the Holy Virgin were chosen to take her on a journey.
What country did you say you came from?
We have traveled all the way from a place of wonders too marvelous to behold. The faraway land of Africa.
Africa has many countries, I've heard.
Yes, it does. I knew not her powers or destination.
What's it like in Africa?
The sun is always shining, and miracles happen every day. It's a land of great deserts, fig trees, and creatures that an Englishman can't even dream up.
Like these horses. Are they horses?
They are not. To you, they might resemble horses, but the name the Africans have for these creatures is impossible to pronounce, even for me. Many bore witness to her miracle before it dawned upon me.
You mentioned there were fig trees in Africa. What are they?
It's a fruit, of course. It looks like a strawberry and tastes like a pear.
The scripture mentions these figs, and they sound nothing like that. Why is that?
No two apples look or taste alike. The same goes for figs, and doubly so.
I'm getting the impression that this man has never even been to Africa. But why would he lie?
But I wondered, what shrine should be her shelter? This time, it was the Madonna herself who answered my questions.
Excuse me. Don't interrupt.
She said, "You shall build me a new church in Kingsbridge." So we set off, with the blessing of Archbishop Theobald of Canterbury. And along the road, from Paris, across Normandy, over the sea, devout Christians have given money for the build. This church.
That's not fit for a shrine. And I think there's someone snoring in there.
The Weeping Madonna
Strange.
has chosen you. All
Nothing
of you.
sacred.
You must be thinking, how can he be so true? In the beginning, I was. I only had my faith.
Chalice.
I knew not her powers or
They look
destination.
almost like horses.
Nevertheless, I carried her for many miles.
Hollow.
Now,
Feels like a wicker basket covered in
brothers
pelt.
and sisters, I have heard that life has not been kind to Kingsbridge.
Do you speak English?
No English, no campanare. No.
Oh, what's this? I think you might have stepped into horse dung.
What? Where?
No English, is it?
Just un poco, si.
Could you talk to this man, Martha?
Yes, it's strange. He was quite talkative just a moment ago. He told me he was from Damascus in Africa.
Isn't Damascus in Arabia?
There's one in Africa too, I'm sure.
Why are you pretending you can't speak English?
No inglese, melada.
But it is in places like these, and in dark
There is much to contemplate,
times
but not
like
now.
these, that God's light shines brightest. Over the sea and all the way to Kingsbridge.
I am
Devout
Philip.
Christians
Who are
have
you,
given
young man?
money for the building of the Church of the Weeping Madonna.
Why are you hiding?
Church of Kingsbridge. I will tell you again, dear brothers and sisters. The Weeping Madonna has chosen you, all of you. You must be thinking. Can you feel it? Brothers and sisters, you are about to witness a miracle. The Madonna knows how you have suffered. The Virgin Mother had to witness the rise and fall of her Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, and never stopped believing. Kingsbridge has endured many hardships. Prior James left you before his time when you needed him the most. Your old cathedral was burned to the ground.
How do you know this?
And your new one collapsed even before construction was finished. You have suffered the ruthless destruction of your market, homes, and lives.
Dada!
All of you have lost husbands, wives, and children, family and friends.
Dada!
All of you know how it is to be hungry and
Jack. Aliena.
Philip.
But this is...
a miracle, isn't it? Or something along those lines.
But how?
We thought it was time to give Tommy a home.
The boy? Your boy?
Well, Philip? Do you recognize him? Our little Tommy?
Tommy? But... It's been almost 3 years since I last saw you, Jack. Where on earth did you find him?
I'd almost given up looking for him. Then Tommy found him.
And you decided to come back?
Well, this is our home, after all.
Then what on earth is all this? This miracle?
With the Madonna, we were able to collect donations for your priory and for Kingsbridge.
Really?
We can start anew. We can rebuild the cathedral.
What's the catch?
I'll get to be master builder.
Why?
I've studied the cathedrals, churches, and houses they build in France and Spain. I saw how different their constructions were, with new shapes, colors, and ideas. Oh, you should have seen it. They combined rib vaulting and pointed arches. I want to do that. That's why.
Why here?
Because this is home.
What you're doing is selling the people a lie.
This is a harmless deception.
There is no such thing as a harmless deception.
It serves the same purpose as an illuminated drawing in the Bible.
Our show illustrates the truth that the Weeping Madonna comes from a faraway land, which it does.
And she can weep too. Though, that is more of a technical achievement.
You want to sell something explainable as a miracle?
The church does the same. You said so yourself. You even wrote a book about it.
Yes, I said that it was not right that the church is faking miracles.
But it works, doesn't it?
Oh.
Jack! Aliena! You came back!
We wanted to see you, little sister.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. But look at you! And the little one!
Tommy.
How are the others?
Alfred left Kingsbridge. Richard shows up every now and then, and Ellen returned to the forest.
We need to visit her.
Father lives with her now.
What's wrong, Mother?
I'm glad you're back.
I am too. Very glad.
She looks like she's about to cry. She will weep for your suffering, Kingsbridge. She knows your pain.
What now?
The miracle!
Her eyes are wet.
Her eyes!
Look at her. Heaven.
They're shining.
She cannot hold her tears any longer.
She is made of wood. It's impossible.
Why are you weeping? She's mute ever since her husband died.
The Madonna has suffered as I have. She understands.
It seems through her faith in all of your lies, Mary has found a miracle. We can't keep trying to repair Kingsbridge by ourselves. Things are not improving. We're struggling to keep things as they are.
But we can't afford to hire help.
Without farming and fairs, we're back to Prior James's time.
All these past years, my advice was good enough for you. But it appears you've changed your mind now, again.
It is time we started doing something to wake up and make Kingsbridge what it used to be. We did before, and we could do it again.
I'm not willing to accept a risk like that. Don't you remember what happened last time? My, how easily we forget.
I remember well.
And still, you put your trust into a group of random strangers to make things better. Philip, why in God's name have you stood by and let this happen? They're tricking us into giving them money for false idols.
They are giving us money.
So that we'll place this idol in our priory? Do you approve of this?
No, I don't approve of their deception. The Madonna is a trick, no miracle. But the people have already decided, and I won't take away the hope they found. Did you not see what happened to Mary?
I saw. And I see that you intentionally turn a blind eye to the lies of your friends. I'm warning you. I cannot support a prior who tolerates heresy.
Your threat won't sway me. No matter how unconventional, their return and their gift are a blessing.
You made your decision, Philip of Gwynedd. And now, I make mine. I resign. I'm leaving the Priory.
I bet he works for Vigot. He's been working for Vigot the whole time.
got so big, Tommy. And you're just as shy as your father was.
Don't let him fool you. Usually, he's always up to something.
We are so proud of you. Of both of you.
Is she still here? Your wife, Agnes?
No. Ellen and Martha moved her to Kingsbridge. She got a proper burial this time.
Will you come back with us too?
Would you want that?
Yes. I need your help with the cathedral. Philip and I have big plans.
We'll come.
Ellen, we found Jack's family in Cherbourg.
The place he came from wasn't Cherbourg, it was Cherbourg.
Really? What were they like?
They were good people.
His grandmother said Jack looked just like him, like his father.
He does. But they never came for him or asked about him.
They thought he was dead. His ship sunk. They'd always wanted to go to England.
Have you ever heard of the White Ship?
No.
The king's family drowned.
My father was there. He was the only one who survived.
Not for long.
You told me that he was accused of stealing a chalice.
Yes. But I know he was innocent. I heard the story and had to find out what he looked like. He told me his name. I fell in love. I helped him escape. But in the end, they caught up with us.
What happened then?
They hanged him. I was there. And you were there, Jack. But you weren't born yet. He was led to the gallows. Everyone was quiet. The people somehow knew he was not a thief. But I knew for sure. He told me. He was so afraid. He didn't want to die. I didn't want him to die. And I prayed. Then I heard his voice. Quiet.
As if the falling melody might wing and net dissever. At dusk the hunter took his prey, the lark his freedom net.
Jeez.
No! No!
You said that 3 men were responsible for Father's death.
Who were they?
The Sheriff of Shiring, Percy Hamley, Prior James of Kingsbridge, and Archdeacon Waileran Bygod. They showed no mercy. Neither did I. I curse you! All of you! He will return to haunt you! One day, you will be judged for what you did. Your houses shall be consumed by fire. Your life shall end in pain and agony. You shall grow old in sadness and regret. The people they killed will return to haunt them. I promised them.
We welcome our new prior, Remigius. He helped to recover the bones of the Saint of Kingsbridge, Adolphus, from the hands of thieves. Adolphus already rests safely in this great cathedral of Shiring. Our master builder Alfred promised me that it will only be a matter of a few years until the cathedral will be finished. and the Earl of Shiring has promised to support us. But he has not done so for himself. No, the Earl is not a selfish man. His mother, Lady Hamley, is sick. More and more, I feel the whole of England is suffering from a sickness. The sickness of war, poverty, and most of all, heathen beliefs. I have spoken to God. I asked him, begged him to walk amongst us, to heal us. But God told me that only when this great cathedral is finished will he have a temple to reside in. No matter the cost, this shall be a towering castle to protect us from evil and false beliefs. With this cathedral, we will bring an end to the dark times.
Waileran, by God.
Jack, what are you doing here?
My father died by your hands, Waileran. His name was Jacques Cherbourg.
How dare you talk to the bishop like that?
He died right here!
Who are you?
I know that man. He's that bastard from Kingsbridge.
That man is my husband.
You?
All of you, listen to what we have to say. From now on, Kingsbridge is protected.
By our knights, by our walls, and by the word of the king.
So whatever you do, we will defend our town, our market and fulling mills.
And our cathedral, which we shall rebuild. All workers are invited to come and work for us.
Oh, preposterous.
If you so much as try to bring harm to us, Bishop, we will make sure that you pay for everything you did.
The challenge has been brought, the gauntlet thrown down. And the bishop's gonna smack himself with it, just watch. $11 years later, wow.
It had been 3 years. 3 years of drought.
That's not
3
good.
years of hunger and poverty. England was brought to its knees. Only our walls had kept us safe from the bands of outlaws raiding towns and villages. Bishop Waileran and William Hamley forced the workers to finish their cathedral in Shiring.
Forced?
Many had died.
Wow.
The work on our own cathedral had almost come to a halt. 4 weeks the storm had raged on. It was then that our cathedral gave up its last secret. And everything changed.
Tom! I told you you wouldn't like the sight of this.
It looks bad, but it's not the wall I'm worried about. It's good you sent the workers home during the storm. Now do us all a favor and do the same. Go home. Your children hardly get to see you. Tommy and Sally have been asking about you all morning.
Oh, he's got another kid.
You'll kill yourself up here.
That crack down there must have been due to the storm. If the storm works, I work.
My cathedral was never designed to be this high.
I know. I reinforced the walls. It cannot be the height.
What else was damaged? I'd look myself, but I dare not come closer. If your mother knew I was up here at all, she'd kill me.
Both of us.
What?
She would kill both of us! Over here, the vaulting looks weak.
If the vaulting was unstable, it could pull the wall inward and damage it. Especially with this storm putting pressure on the wall from the outside.
We have to find out.
How?
If I widen these cracks, we'll see if our problem gets worse or not.
I don't like the sound of that.
Me neither, but I'll have to fix it either way.
Careful over there!
If we don't find out what's causing this, then the whole east wall will come down. The storm is making it worse.
If you're right. What about Aliena?
She should be on her way back from Winchester now.
Oh, I hope she's all right in this.
Yeah, I hope so too. If I make it worse, then we'll at least know what the problem is.
You're probably right.
All right. One more time.
And? What happened?
If the vaulting were unstable, this part should have collapsed and the wall would retract.
So, the cause of our problem is not up here?
No.
When we erected the eastern wall 17 years ago, there was also a crack. No matter what we did, it always came back. Remember?
Yes. Yeah, I remember. But this is not the same wall. We rebuilt it.
Still, could the cause not have been the same in both cases?
Maybe. The ground is the same.
But it's never been that dry.
We had no problem with the rest of the walls.
Well, that's true. But there must be something else.
The crypt!
How kept the whole foundation there as it was?
But it never had to carry this much weight before.
You're right. If the cause of our problem is down there, we'll find it. You go ahead.
Don't you need help?
I'll manage. Just don't tell your mother.
Are you sure?
Go on. I know you can't wait to get down there.
Neither can you. I'll just take a quick look and wait for you.
They were enraged. Bishop Henry thinks that the Pope should hear about what you wrote.
I think so, too. I would be honored if he read my book.
Philip, I really am worried about you.
There is no need for you to worry, Jonathan. It is just a book.
The problem is that the people love your sermons, and what you wrote, even though most of them can't read. Your book is being copied in priories all over England.
Is that not a good thing, if our message gives people hope?
In desperate times, hope can be a powerful force.
That is very true.
Well, I fear the bishops. They might come to believe you took that power from them.
Huh? Do you?
Jack!
Have you been atop the cathedral during the storm?
Don't worry, Philip. The storm isn't as bad up there. Jonathan, did you and the others come directly from Winchester?
Yes, we did.
What about Aliena?
She stayed a day longer for the Fleece Fair. She should be on her way back now.
In this storm?
We didn't expect it to get worse.
No one did.
I am sure she'll be all right.
I need to go. I think I know why the east wall is unstable.
Yes? Why is that?
I'm not sure, but I think the answer lies down in the crypt. I should hurry before it's too late. I better wait for Tom. I know he doesn't want to miss anything.
Now it's down here, too. The first cracks are showing.
That means we were right. The cause of the instability must be down here.
The ground.
Could be.
The drought could have made it worse.
We'll find out. That definitely wasn't here before.
It wasn't.
This is the spot. Let's find out what the real problem is. The old wall here. What's behind it? If there's dry sand behind there, we know it's the ground.
Just be careful when you work on that wall. If it's the ground and the foundation, the whole wall could cave in.
Here we go. But
what?
I think I can feel a draft.
What?
One more time.
Jack, watch out!
It's all right.
What is it?
Dear God. These stones, they've been removed before.
The mortar is missing on most of them.
Whoever put them back just added some mortar on top of the stones to hide the fact that they were removed. The tile at the bottom was completely loose.
What does that mean?
I think it was an entrance.
An entrance? To where?
That's what we'll find out.
Careful now. You've got the whole east wall on top of you. Jack?
Jack?
I'm all right. I just hit my head. It's dark in here. There's a whole room here.
A chamber.
What's that? I'll get a torch. Philip, I'll get it. You stay
I
here.
already see the cup.
That's not wood. It's metal. Gold, even. Maybe Philip knows what this is. It's made of leather. It's a whip. What is that doing here? Is that a coffin? Oh, there's sand everywhere. Huh? It's a bed.
What?
There's a bed in here.
What? Jonathan, we need that torch. I have the torch.
All right, come in here. Should be safe.
Yes.
Did you know about this place?
No. No, I did not. I have seen this chalice before, when I was very young. It's the chalice of the Eucharist from Kingsbridge Cathedral. Cuthbert told me about it. He said it was stolen.
And melted down, I know. Mother told me. They also said it was my father who did it.
Did they?
So he's innocent then?
He must be.
And whoever hid the chalice is responsible for his death. They hanged him in Shiring for stealing this chalice. It was here all along.
That scourge, the whip. It belonged to Prior James. I was afraid of it when I first visited Kingsbridge with Francis and Abbot Peter. Even the look of it scared me.
James. Maybe it was him. I think I saw him during the night of the fire in the cathedral. When the old cathedral burned down, there was a man in the fire. His shoulders were bloody, as if he had chastised himself.
It is you! By God and the devil!
He told me that he had sinned, that he had done something to me. Perhaps because I looked like my father.
So he confessed for framing your father while he hid the cup here?
But it couldn't have been James you saw. James died weeks before the fire.
Did he? You said they never found his body. Maybe he hid down here. Maybe that's why the bed's here.
Wait. Jack, you were in the burning cathedral. What were you doing there?
And then I told Philip what I'd done. He just looked at me. Didn't say anything.
Had to come clean. Oh, he got fat.
Waiter. What do you want?
Do you think it is wise to resign yourself to gluttony at times like these, while your people starve on the streets of Shiring?
Don't play the saint. You promise them miracles. And you make them pay. But your miracles never work out, do they?
God works in ways that we cannot comprehend.
Yeah, he's punishing
My
him for
mother
making them pay.
cannot walk. You failed. Again. What do you want?
I came about a book.
The Bible again.
No. Philip of Gwynedd wrote it. And the church is displeased. Bishop Henry was enraged. This is our chance, William.
Your chance, you mean? If you need forces, talk to Walter, or Ugly. I don't care. I built your fucking cathedral. I'm done.
It's not just about Philip. It's about Aliena and her family.
Don't mention that name.
But have you not heard? King Stephen and Maud's son just signed a peace treaty.
I don't care.
You should care.
I said I don't. Now leave, and don't come back unless I ask for you. Where's my wife?
They've not returned yet, Lord William.
Then get me a whore! Now!
Well, you got married. Lovely. Looks to me like she started going great. Oh, is this where I think it is? Single pass. Top score. Here we go.
I am sorry for intruding, but I must ask you for shelter. I was on my way from the Fleece Fair in Winchester to Kingsbridge and got caught in the storm.
Nasty, isn't it?
Yes. And it's getting worse and worse. Thank you for your hospitality.
Someone! Help me! Please! I need help!
I hear a baby.
Help!
Well, where are you?
Can anyone hear me?
Hello?
There.
Oh dear, are you hurt?
My horse! It fell! I can't move!
Take my hand! We'll get you inside!
Oh, is that supposed to be his wife?
We'll only be here until it's safe to leave. We won't bother you. I'm Aliena. What's your name?
Elizabeth.
Breathe, Elizabeth. You're safe now.
Mm-hmm.
Shake her. Should have let her die. We would all be better off without someone like her.
I hope the storm spares your homes and fields.
If only we had that much left.
We still have our lives.
And our dignity.
You still have yours. Hold your horses. We'll see what happens.
Hey, what are you going to do with that?
I'm just going to borrow it.
Let's try to get along until the storm passes.
Thank you.
Hey, that's our blanket.
Can't you see she's freezing?
It's all right. It's just a blanket.
Oh, you're so kind. Many people would have let me die. People don't listen to me. My entourage didn't even notice they lost me.
Who?
My husband and his entourage.
A fine husband you have. I divorced my last one for less than that.
Divorced? Oh, he's just been beside himself ever since his mother.
Maybe now you'll understand what loss feels like. And what you people are doing to us.
Stop bullying her! Can't you see she's upset? How do they know you? This isn't right.
Oh, I'm used to it. I guess that's how it is when your husband holds an office like that. He has to do a lot of things people don't like. And sometimes they recognize me, too.
Wait. Is your husband the Earl of Shiring?
I thought you knew.
William Hamley.
Oh, please don't abandon me too. I swear, I'm not... I can't...
I used to know him when I was a girl.
Really?
Why did you marry him?
My parents arranged it. And it was an honor to be picked.
What's he like now?
I loathe him with all my heart. How do you know him?
He wanted to marry me when I was your age. Apparently he likes young girls, no matter how old he gets.
You too were supposed to marry him. How come you didn't?
He was a beast. So I refused.
You refused him?
It caused a lot of misery.
You're so courageous. I wish I was like you. I can't even stand up to the servants.
Don't act like you didn't have a hand in the downfall of this land. For years he roamed across the country to raid, rape and kill.
I'm sorry.
He's no earl. After all he's taken from us, we should take something from him too.
She has nothing to do with this. Don't you dare touch her. Can't you see she's another one of his victims?
I'll give over. She's in on it too.
Can you even imagine how it must be to be a child married to Hamley? The abuse,
And the humiliation. Every single day. I'm so sorry.
I'm crying because you know too.
Enough to know your pain.
I just don't know what to do anymore.
Sam, where the hell am I supposed to tether this horse?
It's Walter. He's looking for me.
Come with me to Kingsbridge. People will take care of you there.
That should do it.
Walter.
You? I've not seen you in a long time. William would be very pleased if I brought him your head.
No! Don't harm her. If it wasn't for her, I'd be dead. She saved me from the storm.
Did she now? Come on, we have to get back to the castle. We've lost too much time already.
I won't let her go back.
It's all right. You don't need to sacrifice yourself for me. Thank you for saving me and protecting me from these people.
Come on now, we need to get going. William is waiting.
Okay. Let's see, where is it? Chapter 18 starts off.
Dear Francis, the letters I have written to you over the years surely could be bound into a book. One of our young novices once asked me why I write to you when you are dead. The young can be blunt, but the thing is, I think you are still alive. One day, I hope, I will find you, and then you will read these letters. And when you do, you will know that I was busy writing a book. Because of my book, I may have to talk to Bishop Henry. But that is not the only thing that keeps me awake tonight. Behind a wall in our crypt, Jack discovered a hidden room. We do not know who built it. But it is likely that Prior James hid there, even after he was said to have drowned. That means he was alive when we met in Kingsbridge on New Year's Day, the day of his burial. And Jack told me he saw a man in the church the night it burned down. Was that him? And if so, did he burn in the fire that night? The dust storm and the drought are taking their toll on all of us. Thanks to our town wall, we are safe from the Earl and the outlaws. We've heard of places nearby being raided. We believe the attackers were William Hamley's men.
Oh, of course they
We have enough food to last us another few weeks. But life has come to a halt. Martha believes there will be rain soon. But the storm is only a harbinger of rain. I hope that she is right. Jonathan worries about my book. The Divine Soul. In Winchester, he heard that Bishop Henry was less than pleased by what I had written. I am not naive enough to pretend I do not know why. I wrote that hope is godly, and since God made each of us, hope and salvation are only to be found within ourselves. Henry sells hope, and I am giving it away for free. If the Church should ask me to clarify my position, of course I shall do so. But I feel I must give our people what they need in these desperate times. And how could I write anything else, if this is what I truly believe? It must be well after midnight. With you, I can be honest about what truly troubles me. Jack told me that he was responsible for the fire in Kingsbridge. I know that it was a long time ago. He told me he set fire to the roof so there would be work for his father, Tom. And I don't think Tom knew either.
Save yourselves! The saint! We must save the saint! Fire! The whole roof is in flames!
My God!
Don't go in there! Adolphus! The saint! We must save him! No! No! Don't go!
Well then.
And as horrible as it may sound, I cannot find it in my heart just now to forgive Jack. Maybe because this confession comes too late, and from a man who I have learned to trust. This is the truth. I should get some air, Francis. The storm has settled down.
Okay.
If James died in that fire, then what happened to his remains? He was never properly buried, and that is Jack's fault. A magnificent cathedral, but I would have been more than content with the old one, had it not been burned to the ground. Hello? I thought I saw someone. From the kitchen.
Oh, it's you.
You startled me.
I thought I heard something. Was that you?
No, but I heard it too. Maybe Aliena came back.
No. She's asleep. She returned a few hours ago. Damn it.
Jack.
Sorry. There's someone in the kitchen.
Yes, I think you're right.
Stay behind me. I'll go ahead.
There's someone in here. Outlaws. probably just after food. I will talk to them. All right. Please, listen. We don't mean you harm.
Philip, be careful! Damn it! Philip, throw me a stone.
Ah! Jack, no! It's him. Brother Marcus.
Brother Marcus?
He took Cuthbert's keys to steal food here from the kitchen. Because of me, Remigius found out. And he left. We never saw him again.
Looks like he came back.
You didn't mean for this to happen.
No, but...
What about him?
Don't be afraid. Ah! Jack! Why did you do that, you animal? I will get the others.
No!
What?
He's just a child.
Just a child. Jack forgave the child. Just like that. And I forgave him. For that was what he had been when he arrived in Kingsbridge. Just a child. Who was I to judge this man for not confessing earlier what he had done? I had never told his wife, Aliena, that I was responsible for her fate, and for her father's. Even that night, when we all met, I did not dare to tell her.
Indeed.
The walls of Kingsbridge weren't enough anymore. The outlaws had found a way in. We weren't safe in our homes.
So this is what it has come to. Kingsbridge is under attack.
Why didn't Uncle Richard chase them away? Why?
Now, now, do not exaggerate. This is not a siege.
We only saw 2 of them, and one of them was a child.
But they almost killed you.
Our Earl of Shiring lets his people starve. With this drought, a just lord would help.
But nobody stood up to him. So he burns our last crops, destroys our towns, and murders our kin.
Richard, please. Not now.
It is all too easy to blame a desperate child. Forgiveness is much harder.
It is.
But forgive we must.
Can you? Forgive, I mean.
I already have.
Hamley is the reason for this. He's to blame. It's that simple.
Well, he won't be Earl for long. The Treaty of Wallingford has been signed at last. It's only a matter of time until things change.
What treaty? Winchester is in turmoil about this right now. Stephen and Maud have signed the treaty. Maud's son, Duke Henry, is to be crowned the next king.
And, by agreement, all lands are to be returned to their previous owners.
But Stephen will continue to rule as long as he lives.
The earldom will be ours again.
It will not.
Why the bloody hell not?
Bloody hell.
Language? No one will enforce this until Stephen is dead.
What is to be done then?
We only have to wait till Maud's son sits on the throne, don't we? And then ask him for help.
And if Hamley were to fight the decision, he'd have to face the king's army.
Well, if they're hungry, can't we just give them something to eat? I'll share.
We should, and we will, but there are too many to feed them all. We must do something.
Well, I cannot sit quietly and wait until Stephen dies of old age. The Treaty of Wallingford is in place. I won't wait for another 17 years. Not when I'm so close to fulfilling the promise I made to my father.
You're right, but it wasn't William Hamley who came here last night. It's the outlaws we need to worry about.
Well, what do we do about it?
Maybe there is nothing we can do but defend ourselves.
We're doing our best already. But walls alone won't do. Our guards are few and hungry.
Things will only get worse if we don't find a way to deal with Hamley.
What about his mother? I've heard that Hamley still listens to her, that she still has a say in Earl's Castle.
Yes, let's tell his mother.
If we spoke to Regan Hamley, we might not need a physical confrontation at all.
That'll never work. We have to assault them and take back our father's castle. Even if that means fighting alongside the outlaws.
I don't like either choice, to be honest.
Neither do I. So, what do you think, Elena?
I'll negotiate with Regan Hamley. I will go to Earl's Castle. Alone.
Are you serious, Ali?
Regan Hamley seems to be in a tight corner herself. She might well be willing to cooperate.
I do hope you're right.
I'll ride with you.
You won't, Cub. Not with that leg of yours.
Your mother is right. Besides, if we all turn up, they might think we mean them harm.
Okay. That was the end of chapter 18. I think I will end this here for now. Next time, we will do the last 4 chapters and probably get to the end of this. Until then, I hope everyone has a fantastic afternoon.